this is the paper of June 2025, but this is the R paper, and I'm specifically solving this one because I already saw that someone actually uploaded the solution for the June 2025 normal paper, okay? And I didn't see any solution for the R paper, so I guess I thought that it's going to be more useful if you guys got the solution of a paper that hasn't been solved by someone else, because the solution for that one is already available, right? So you guys could watch the video of that person, and for the art paper, you could watch this one. Again, my apologies for the delay, and it's been like the schedule has been really rough for me. So yeah, let's just start. Um, okay. So the first question, so for Matthew, the first two questions are extremely easy. Okay, so don't get too cocky, okay? Don't get overconfident. The first questions are always easy, and the hard part usually starts after question number 20, 21, okay? So yeah, try to solve these questions as soon as possible. Don't waste any time in these questions, okay? Sometimes, just one question among the first 10 to 15 is going to be difficult, okay? And you guys should by now be able to realize what type of questions those are. Mostly they are the like HCF, LCM type questions, okay? But anyways, I'm not gonna like yap and I'm just gonna start solving, okay? So the first question is factorize fully. This is really simple. So we can clearly see that 3 can be factored out and also x can be factored out. So this leaves us with 3 plus 4x and y. Okay, that's it. Done. The next is the diagram shows the position of two towns, J and K. Okay, uh, it's uses the bearing of J from K. Okay, the bearing of J from K. So from K, it's 214. Okay, so I'm not reading the rest of the question. Like right after reading this part, you should actually find this angle. Okay, because you can. Okay, that's pretty much the reason. So this is clearly 360 minus 214. Okay, I hope you guys know the rule. I think the formal rule is angle around a point is 360 degree. So this part, the entire thing is 360 degrees. So this should be 360 minus 214, which gives me, okay. And also let me just describe you the environment on which like where I'm actually recording this video. It's a public place and there's a lot of background noise, and it's currently almost 2 a.m. Yeah, 1:58 a.m. So yeah, if someone approaches like comes near me, I will probably pause or stop talking. So yeah, just a heads up. Anyways, so this angle comes out to be also it's completely dark. Okay, I'm actually using the light of my laptop screen to see the calculator display. Anyway, so this angle is 146 degrees. Okay, let me, yeah, this is for 146. And also we can clearly, we already know this rule. I forgot the name of the rule, but it is basically this angle plus this angle, they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so, and let's see what our target is. Find the bearing in degrees of K from J. Okay, K from J. So this is like the starting position. This is where we draw the north line, and we need to find the bearing of K from J. So this is the angle that we need to find. And I already told you that how to find it. So this angle plus this angle should be 180, right? So this angle has to be 180 minus that angle, which is 146. Okay, I hope you got it. This is fairly simple. So 180 minus 146. So I guess should I write anything? I guess you could just write the final answer and you'll get the full mark. So yeah, 180 minus 146. This comes out to be 34. And again, since this is a bearing, you should always write in 3 digits. So it should, the angle is 34, you should write 034. Moving on, make x the subject. So this is also fairly simple. So t is equals 6, and remove the brackets. 6 times 4 is 24. So our target is to take x on the left-hand side. So taking everything related to x on the left-hand side. So x is equals t minus 24 divided by 6. I'm not going to explain this. This is too simple. Okay, so now it's a question related to percentage. Let me just see if my microphone is on. Yes, it is. Also, I'm actually using the microphone of my earbuds, so I'm actually not sure how the quality is. And also, there's like a fan that is like making a very, very loud noise. The ANC is on, but I'm not sure how it's gonna work. But let's see what happens. So the next question is, so the price of a television is reduced by 8% in a sale. Okay, so if the original price is, let's say, 100%, then after the sale, the new price is 100 minus 8, right? So 92%. This is the new price. Like this is the sale price, right? Okay, so the price of television in the sale is okay. So they let me just write it right here. So they gave us the price after the sale has been applied, right? So basically, they gave us the 92%, the value that is represented by the 92%. Okay, so 92% represents 1012. Okay, this is what they gave us, and they are asking us to find the price before the sale. Okay, so basically the value of 100%. Okay, this is also like very easy. It's just 2 mark. So yeah, 92% represents this. So 1% represents 1012 divided by 92%, and then 100% represents 1012 92% times 100%. So this comes out to be 012 times 100 divided by 92. This is 110 dollars. Okay. Moving on, simplify fully. So the rule in in questions like these is a to the power m, a to the power m times, like let's say b to the power n. The entire thing is raised to the power, let's say k. Then this power is distributed among everything. Okay, so basically it becomes a to the power m multiplied by k multiplied by b to the power n multiplied by k. Okay, that's the rule. Okay, okay. So let's just solve this question. So the power 3 is distributed among like is given to all of the individual terms. Okay, so this becomes 4 cubed times x cubed times y to the power 5 times 3. Okay, divided by 2xy. So now it becomes like you have to calculate the value 4 cubed divided by 3. So 4 cubed divided by 3, which is 32. And then x cubed, but there's an x below it, right? So one x gets canceled out. So this leaves me with x squared, okay? And above, like for y, it's basically y to the power 15, right? At the top, but there's a y below it, so one of the y's cancel out. So this leaves me with 14 y's. So okay, moving on. Okay, this is very simple. This is a completing square question. Square. If you don't know how to do it, just search on YouTube completing square. Okay. So we are given this quadratic equation, x squared plus 6x minus 15, and we have to like write it in this particular form. So how do we complete the square? It's like a very, very specific method, and just always try to follow this one. So the next in the next line, you just write x plus whatever this number is divided by 2. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. Square the entire thing and subtract the number that is inside, the square of the number that is inside. Again, I'm repeating it. So first of all, it was x squared plus 6x, right? X squared plus 6x. So write it as x, and then if there's a plus, then write plus. And then in this position, write this number divided by 2, okay? Forget about the x, forget about the x. So 6 divided by 2, which gives me 3, okay? And then like give square on the entire thing, and then subtract this number, the square of this number. Okay, subtract the square of this number. So basically, it was 3 here, so I'm subtracting 3 squared. Okay, that's basically it. And also, we had a minus 15, so I'm going to write it right here. And that's pretty much it. So x plus 3 squared, and then so this gives me 24. Negative 24. I hope I'm correct. Anyways, so yeah, we need to find the value of A and B. So let's just compare this one with this one. Okay. So this leaves me with A equals 3 and B equals 24. Okay. How? Just compare. Okay. Wait. So plus A plus 3, and then negative B, negative 24. Therefore, B equals 24. Okay. That's how I got it. So moving on. Okay, again, I'm not reading this part right now. The moment I see diagrams like this, I try to find any angle that I can, okay? Right after like just looking at the diagram, okay? So first of all, if this angle is 56 degrees, if this angle is 56, then this is also 56, right? Because I forgot the name of the rule. It's, I think, alternate angles. Yeah, alternate angles. And then, okay, so now we can find this one. How? Since this is a straight line, we know that angles add up to 180 degrees. So this can be found using 180 minus 56 minus 72. I hope you get it. So yeah, now let's just read the question. Find the size in degrees of EBF. EBF. Okay, so that's exactly what we just found. Okay, this is what we need. And also we have to give reasons for each stage of our working. Okay. So first of all, we need to write this and then write the reasoning. So angle what ABE is 56. Why? Because alternate angle. Oh, let me just write something else as well. Angle ABE is equal to angle BEF, which is equal to 56, and that's because they are alternate angles. Okay, the next thing is like our required answer, which is angle EBF, which is 180 minus 56 minus 72, which gives me 52 degrees. And the reasoning is angles on a straight line. Okay, or you could try angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees, your wish. Next is here are marks for 10 students, and as you can see, the data is not arranged in an ascending order, but in the next part, they ask for median. And you guys should know that to find the median, the data has to be arranged in ascending order, okay? So the first thing that you should do is write everything in ascending order. So let's just do it right now and try to align everything like parallelly so that you can actually keep track and to see if anything goes missing. So the smallest number is clearly 4, and then 6, and then what? 10, I believe. 10, and then 11, and then another 11, and then 15, 19. What else? 24, 25, and lastly 28. So yeah, perfect. So our target is, first of all, for part A, our target is to find the mode, and we know, like, what's the meaning of mode? Mode is basically the most frequent data or whatever. Okay, so what does that mean? Frequent. What does frequent mean? It means that the data point or like, yeah, the data point that occurs the most. Okay, so clearly you can see that 11, the number 11 is repeated twice. Okay, no other number is repeated. So 11, since 11 is the most frequent data, we can say that the mode of this data set is 11. Okay, that's pretty much it. Mode is 11. So if the data was given in a table, let's say like uh, say X and then F, and then they told you to find the mode, and you should just see the frequency part, and find out the data set that has the highest frequency. Okay, that's pretty much it. So erase this. And the next part asks us to find the median. So there's two or three different ways, I guess, to solve this one. The first one is pretty simple. Okay, you can just clearly see the median is basically the right at the middle. So this is the middle. Okay, there like actually this is the middle. Okay, this is the middle, but there's no data point right here since it's an even number of there's an even number of data points. So basically, what you do is take the average of these two terms. Okay, so 11 plus 15 divided by 2, which gives me 13. Okay, so that's the I'd say the easiest way in this case, but like there's a more systematic way of solving this question, which is what most of you guys have learned, I guess. So the first one is you try to find the median position. Okay, median position, which is basically okay, there's two ways that like to find this. One method is n by 2 and another method is n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, I'm coming to this one later. So let me just erase it for now. So n by 2. So basically, there are 10 students. So 10 divided by 2. So this is 50. Okay. So if you are doing n by 2, if you are doing n by 2, let me just write this down for your revision's sake. If you are you're doing n by 2, and if it's a whole number, then take the average of that number and the next. Okay, what do I mean by that? So since 10 divided by 2 is 5, okay? So this is a whole number, okay? This is a whole number. That means we have to take the average of the fifth number and the next, okay? And the next, what do I mean by that? Fifth and sixth, okay? The average of fifth and sixth. So which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth and sixth. So again, 11 plus 15 divided by 2, which is 13. This is equal to the median. Okay, this is one method. And if your number, if if it's not whole number, then round up. Okay, what do I mean by that? So let's say you do n by 2 and it comes out to be, let's say, I don't know, 6.5 position. Okay, 6.5. Then you round up. What do I mean by up? It should turn to 7. So take the seventh term. If you do n by 2 and it comes out to be 13.5 term, then you take the 14th term. Okay. Remember, this is only for the n by 2 situation. Okay. Okay. You know what? Just learn this one. Okay. Just forget whatever your teacher taught you. Just remember this rule. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna teach you the other one, or else you guys are gonna get confused. So just stick to this one. Always do n by 2. And if it's a whole number, then take the average between that number and the next. And if it's not a whole number, then round up. Okay, always round up in this situation. So the final answer is 13. Moving on, solve the inequality. Okay, this is fairly simple. So taking 3y to the left, this gives me 2y less than 20. So y less than 2. Okay. So represent the inequality x greater than 1 on the number line. So greater than or equals to 1. So what do they mean by that? So you try to draw a bar like this and a circle at that particular number, okay? And since this is greater than or equals to, you should actually close the circle, okay? Close the circle. And since it's greater than or equals to 1, so you just draw an arrow like this, okay? An arrow. This is basically representing that it's continuing up, like above 1. That's basically it. Let me just straighten the arrow. I sometimes feel like I have OCD. Like one of my students actually once told me that I might have OCD because like I usually try to fix like like the alignment sometimes. Anyway, so if it's greater than or equals to 1, then the circle should be closed, and if it's just greater than, then the circle should be open. Okay, that's it. Moving on. Some mark 3 marks. Okay, so this should be fairly simple. The cost, including delivery of a mobile phone in the UK, is this. The cost of an identical mobile phone in the US is this, plus an additional cost of D for delivery. Okay, the cost, including delivery of the mobile phone in the UK, is this much more than the cost in USA. Okay, so this particular sentence, yeah, this is basically the key information that we need to make use of. So let me just try to form an equation based on this. So the cost in UK, so let me just try simplify it. UK price is equal to USA price plus 224 pounds. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now they gave us the exchange rate and they are asking us to find the value of D, and D is in dollars. Okay. So, what should we do right now? So our target is the USA price is basically for 48 plus T. But this entire thing is in dollars, right? This entire thing is in dollars, and these numbers are in pounds. Okay. So I think it's gonna be easier if we convert everything to dollars, because otherwise we have to convert this weird ass number to pounds, which is gonna be actually like kind of messy, and I wouldn't like it. That's why I'm actually trying to convert these to pounds. Okay, so it's fairly simple. So if we already got the exchange rate, so let me just write it right here. So 1 pound is equal to this much dollars. So 624 pounds is gonna be 1.28 times 624, right? Sorry, 624. And also this much. So 224 is gonna be 1.28 times 224. I hope you get it. So now these values are in dollars, okay? These values are in dollars. So I'm just gonna like fill the values up, like fill the equation, the values in the equation. So the UK price is this in pounds, but in dollars it's this. So I'm gonna write 1.28 times 624 equals the USA price, which is already in dollars. So there's like we don't have to convert it. So 448 plus D plus 224 pounds, which is in dollars this. Okay, so 1.28 times 224. So now we just have to make D the subject. So this is actually really simple. 624 minus, yeah, this is also like one thing you guys could work upon. Like, for example, like, wait, let me just phrase it properly in my mind. So you guys can clearly see that in the next line, you are basically subtracting this entire thing and also this from this part, right? And also you can notice that the like 1.28 is common between these two terms, okay? So when you are using your calculator, try to like take this thing common, okay? So in that way you won't be writing this number twice, okay? So these are basically like some time saving like methods that like tips that I can give you right now. It's just gonna save you like 3 seconds of time, but anyways, every second counts. So D comes after the 624 minus 224 times 1.28 minus 448, which gives me 64. Yeah, that's the value of D. Moving on, A and B are two points on a horizontal ground. So let's just label A and B. And A, B are like the distance is 1.5 kilometers. BC is a vertical pole. BC is a vertical pole. Oh, what? Wait a minute. My apologies. So one of my friends just came up. Um, anyways, what was I saying? I completely forgot. You guys aren't gonna notice because you're gonna watch it in a continuous loop. But anyways, so we are given A and B. They are 2 points in a horizontal line, and BC is a vertical pole, so a vertical pole above B. So this point is C. All right. And we know the distance A to B, which is 1.5 kilometers. And we are required to find the height in meters. Okay, so let's just convert everything to meters. So 1.5 kilometers is 1500 meters, like times 1000. And the angle that is given is CAB, which is 6 degrees. So we need to find the heights H, which is like this is like very easy. You guys, I hope you know. So so, I think I mentioned it in my previous video, and I like, barely remember it. What I like told in that video. Anyways, so sine. Is this the right spell? Okay, I get distracted easily. So sine is opposite by hypo. Cos is adjacent by hypo. And lastly, tan is opposite by adjacent. Okay. So in this question, we already know the adjacent length, and we need to find the opposite. Okay. So clearly we need to use tan. Okay. So how do we know which one is adjacent and which one is opposite? So we already know the angle, which is 6. So the side that is adjacent to the angle, okay, the side that is right beside the angle, that's the adjacent side, okay, the ADJ, okay, and the side that is opposite to the angle, the side that is opposite to the angle is the opposite side, okay. That's pretty much it. So we know that tan of 6 degrees is opposite by adjacent. So opposite is h. Adjacent is 1500. So h is equals and 6 times 1500. Okay, so this comes out to be 157.656. Uh, I need to write it in 3 SF, so it's 158 meters. Moving on. So two solids uh, that are similar. Okay, we already know the surface area of solid A. So surface area of A, which is 25, surface area of B, which is 900, and then volume of A, which is 50, and we need to find the volume of B. Okay, so as always, we always should like start from the like basics. Okay, there are only two different equations in this entire chapter. Okay, two different equations. So the first one is surface area of A divided by surface area of B is equal to the length of A divided by length of B. Okay, basically the ratio of area. The area ratio is the square of the length ratio. That's it. And the other one is volume of A divided by volume of B equals length of A divided by length of B, the entire thing cubed. Okay. So right now, we know both the surface areas, okay? The surface area areas of both the shapes. So we can actually use this equation to find the length ratio, okay? The LA divided by LB, we can actually find it right now. So let's just do it right here. So the values, let me just substitute the values. So 25 divided by 900 equals LA divided by LB. And since it was a square here, so I can just square root the entire thing right here. So we now found LA divided by LB, which is 1 over 6. Okay. Now we need to find the volume of B, right? So we have to use the other equation, this one. Okay. So we already know the like volume of A, which is 50. So 50 divided by volume of B equals the length ratio cubed. So 1 by 6, the entire thing cubed. Okay. So now it's pretty easy. So VA, let me just make VB the subject. So VB is equals 50 times 6 cubed, which is 10800. Okay. So this is it. Okay. This was like very easy, I'd say. Moving on a trip, a powerboat travels at an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour for 1 hour 18 minutes and then travels. Okay, so the entire journey is split up into two parts. Let me just label this part as part A and this part is part B. Okay, so we need to find the average speed of the whole trip. Okay, so basically the formula. What's the formula of speed? Speed v is equals distance. The symbol for distance is actually s, but let me just use d for simplicity. Divided by time. Okay. Okay. So we need to find the average speed. So basically the formula for myself right now, it should be actually distance, or let me just write it in the short form. Sorry. So distance traveled in part A and distance traveled in part B divided by time needed to travel in part A, time needed to travel in part B. Okay, I hope you get the idea. Okay, the total distance dA plus dB is basically the total distance, and TA plus TB is the total time. Okay, so this is basically the formula for the average speed. Okay, so now what do we need to do? We need to find the distance A and the distance B, the time A and the time B. Okay, so, and our target is to find everything in kilometers per hour. Okay, so the distance should be in kilometers and the time should be in hours. And let me just convert the time, 1 hour 18 minutes to hour. Okay, so 1 hour is like it's already in hours, but 18 minutes can be actually converted to hours. It's basically 18 divided by 60. Okay, so just that come out to be it's 0.3. Okay, So now let me just use the formula V is equals to distance divided by time. So distance equals V times T. So for part A, distance A is equals to the speed multiplied by the time, right? So the speed is 40 kilometers per hour and the time is 1 hour 18 minutes. So 1 hour plus the 0.3 minutes, right? Sorry, 0.3 hours. So this comes out to be 40 plus 40 times 1.3, which is 52. 52 kilometers. This is distance A. And for B, distance B is 22 kilometers per hour times the time 30 minutes. 30 minutes is basically half an hour, so 0.5. So this is 11. 22, half of 22 is 11. So this is basically the total, like we found the total distance, which is 63. So let me just substitute everything right here. So dA is 52, dB is 11. Let me just see if it's recording. I always get scared because like sometimes I like it happened like previously. I was very active like 2 years ago, I'd say, and like at that time, every time I tried to record a video, after like recording for around half an hour, I realized that my microphone was off or it wasn't recording or like I always face some issue. That's why I always keep checking if I'm recording or not. Anyways, so time A, TA is 1.3 plus TB is 0.5. Okay, so this comes out to be 63 divided by 1.8, which is 35. So the average speed is 35 kilometers per hour. Okay, moving on. We need to find the mean of the data that is given. Okay, so since this is basically a continuous data set, we need to find the midpoints. Okay, so the midpoint, let me just write right here, midpoint. So we can actually like calculate the midpoint easily, very easily using mental math. So the midpoint of 0 and 2 is 1. The midpoint of 2 and 4 is 3. Or you guys can actually use your calculator, but I suggest, like I recommend you not to. This is 6 and this is 9, okay? So, or like if you want to use your calculator, just write 2 plus 0 divided by 2, because you're basically trying to find the midpoint between like these two numbers, right? So 4 plus 2, which is 6, divided by 2, which is 3. 6 plus 4, which is 10, divided by 2, 5. So you get the idea. So the mean, okay, the mean is basically the total. Okay, so the total of what? Like frequency multiplied by data divided by like total of frequency. Okay, that's basically how I actually remember it. But you guys can actually like there are formal symbols which look very complicated. The actual format is the sum of xf divided by sum of f, and I personally do not prefer this one because this makes like this looks very complicated. That's why I just remember it like this. Anyways, so this is basically the frequency multiplied by the midpoint, the frequency multiplied by the midpoint. Okay, so 7 times 1 plus 8 times 3 plus 6 times 5 plus 5 times 7 plus 4 times 9 divided by the sum of the frequencies given, which is 30. Okay. So one more thing, always try to calculate the like this part and show what the number exactly is, okay? Because like if you accidentally calculate, like if you calculate the final result right here, and if somehow it's not correct, then you're gonna lose 2 marks, okay? But if you write this part correctly, then you're gonna get at least 1 mark, okay? So that's why like I always ask everyone to sorry, like to write that like the summation of the numerator, okay, always. So this comes out to be 7 plus 24, sorry, 24 plus 30 plus 35 plus it's 9 times 36. So it comes out to be 132 divided by 30. So this is 4.4. So this is the the next one, it's 4 marks. So I guess might be difficult. Let's see. So the point C is such that AC is this and AC is parallel to OP. Okay. The this is the like this line is very important. find BC. So we need to find, so we do not know the coordinates of C, and we need to find BC. Okay, all right. So first of all, let me try to use this information. Okay, so AC is parallel to OB. Okay, so AC should be some multiple of OB. Okay, I hope you guys already know. Like the vector AC is some multiple of the vector OB. Okay, and also the magnitude, the length of AC is also the multiple of the magnitude of OB. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna use that information. I already know the length of AC, which is 125. Okay, it's 125. So sorry, it's root over square root of 125 equals K multiplied by the magnitude of OB. What's the magnitude of OB? It's basically the square root of like negative 4 square and 2 square, right? So square root of negative 4 squared, or you could write 4 squared. It's the same thing, plus 2 squared. So we can easily find the value of K, which comes out to be square root which is 2.5. Okay, so we found the value of K, which is 2.5. So our equation comes out to be AC equals 2.5 multiplied by OB. And we already know the vector OB, right? So we can actually write OB here and find the value, find the vector AC. So OB is minus 4 and 2. So let me just multiply it right here. This is negative 10, and this is 5. So we found AC. But that's not our target, right? Our target was to find BC. So I guess we could actually find OC from here, since we know that AC is, I think I mentioned it in my previous video, that AC can be found using the formula OC minus OA. Okay, so basically, how do I remember this? The last one, the position vector of the last one should be first, and then subtract the position vector of the first one. Okay, so if we need to find AC, we should write OC minus OA. Okay, that's how I remember it. So now our target is to find OC. So let me make OC the subject. So OC is equals to AC plus OA. So this gives me AC is minus 10, 5, plus OA was already given, which is minus 1 and 5. So this is negative 11 and 10. But that's not my final answer. My final target is BC, right? So BC, again, BC should be, yeah, try it. Yeah, okay, I hope you're right. It's OC minus OB. So OC, I just found it, minus 11 and 10. Subtracting from it, minus 4 and 2. So minus 4 and 2. So this gives me 7, negative 7, and this is 8. I hope this is correct. Okay, question 16. Okay, so we know the arc length. Okay, we know the arc length, which is 17.2 centimeters. Let me label the radius r. So we know the arc length, and the formula for arc length is, always write the formula, theta by 360 times 2 pi r. Now, what do we like? What do we like? What can we find from this equation? We can actually find the value of r, right? Since we know the length, the arc length, which is 17.2, the value of theta, which is 120 by 360 times 2 pi, and we need to find the value of r. So r is equal to 17.2 divided by, which comes out to be 8.21295. Okay. And we need to find the sector area, right? So the area of the sector, is, again, write the formula, theta by 360 times pi r squared. So 120 divided by 360 times pi times r squared. R is the number that we just calculated, 2 square. So this is 1 by times 5 times z squared, which is 70.62659755, but they told me to give it in three significant figures, so let me just keep it to, yeah, this 70.6. I hope I'm not making a mistake. Let me just check. I hope it is correct. Okay. I'm gonna check it at the end. Okay. Without using a calculator. Okay, these are always like exactly the same question. Okay, so I please do not make any mistake in questions like these. So first of all, 4 plus 2 root 7 divided by 3 minus square root of 7. And what's the first step? The first step is multiply with the conjugate. Okay, multiply and divide by the conjugate. The conjugate is basically the opposite sign. Right? If it's a negative here, then it should be a positive. Okay, and if it was a positive, then you should multiply by a negative. That's pretty much it. So now what? Now you can clearly see in the denominator, it's basically a plus b times a minus b, right? So this is basically, we already know this is a squared minus b squared, right? So we can actually write it as a squared minus b squared. So a is 3 squared minus b squared, which is square root of 7 squared, right? And at the top, it should be 4 plus 2 root 7 multiplied by 3 plus root 7. So let me just remove the brackets at the top. So 4 times 3, which is 12, and then 4 times root 7, and then 2 root 7 times 3, which is 6 root 7, and then 2 root 7 times root 7, which is 2 times 7, and divided by 9 minus. Okay, so now it's basically 12 plus 14, which is 26. I hope it's yeah, it is 26 anyways. And it's 10 root 7 divided by 2. And I actually can take 2 common. And remember, try to show every single step. Okay, in questions like these, try to show, like, try not to skip any question, any steps. So I'm I'm clearly showing like I'm taking 2 common. So this comes out to be 13 plus 5 square root of 7. Is this the form? Oh no, so they specifically told me that I should write it in this form, but my one is not in this one, especially this one, okay? So I need to take the 5 inside the square root, okay? Now, how do I do it? So what's the rule actually? So let's say I have like a squared times b, and I can actually, what can I do in this situation? I can actually take a outside the square root, right? I can write it as a square root of b, right? Now, what if I actually like have this a square root of b, and I want to take a inside the square root? I multiply the square of a with b, right? That's exactly what I have to do with this thing. Okay, so I have 5 square root of 7, so this becomes 5 squared times 7. Okay, so then 5 squared is 25. 25 times 7 is 175. So this is 175. Okay, so square root of 175. That's the final answer. A is equals 13, B is equals 175. Okay, moving on. Again, let's just start by finding every single angle that we can. So this is basically 52 times 2, which is 104, because this is angle at the circumference and this is angle at the center. The angle at the center is always twice the angle at the circumference. I hope you know the circle theorems. This should be 180 minus 52 because this is a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so yeah, let's just read the question now. Find the angle ADC. So ADC. Yeah, okay. So this is exactly what I just found. This is angle ADC is equals 180 minus 52, which is 128. Yeah, it should work. Okay. So why? We should actually give our reasoning. Angles. I should write opposite. Opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. Add up to 180 degrees. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay. Moving on, find the value of x. So I can actually find it quite easily actually. So first of all, I need to like write how I got this angle, right? So angle AOC. Angle AOC is equals 2 times 52, which is 104 degrees. Why? because angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. Circumference. And then how to find x? Oh, okay. So x is very easy. Yeah, x is 360 minus 104, which is 256. Is it correct? Yeah. So how? It's like it's a single point, right? So the total angle is 360. So yeah, how should I phrase it? Angles around a point. Yes, angles around a point add up to, yeah, add up to 360. Okay, moving on. Calculate this in standard form. Okay, so what's standard form? Standard form is basically something times 10 to the power something, and this something has to be between 1 to 9.99999. Okay. So how do I calculate? Let me just take these two, like multiply these two using my calculator, and then I can actually combine these two. Okay. So we already know the rule: a to the power m times a to the power n is basically a to the power m plus n, right? So 10 to the power 103 times 10 to the power 101 should be 10 to the power 103 plus 101, right? Fairly simple. And 3.6 times 7.5. Okay, let me just write the next line to for your understanding, I guess. Times 10 to the power 101. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply the first two terms. So 3.6 times 7.5, which is 27. This is 27. And this is 103 plus 101. Now, since this number, okay, this number is greater than 9.9999, so we can actually split this 27 to 2.7 times 10, right? And this is 204. I hope you're with me so far. And now it's it's very easy. Like I can actually, this is, what's this exactly? 10 to the power 1, right? So I can combine the powers of these two using this formula again. So this becomes 2.7 times 10 to the power 205. Okay. Now c is this, where n is an integer. Find an expression for c to the power negative 1 over 2 in terms of that. So c to the power negative 1 over 2, which is 4 times 10 to the power minus 8 to the power negative 1 over 2. And I already mentioned previously that the power is distributed to every single term. So 4 to the power negative 1 over 2 times 10 to the power negative 8 multiplied by negative 1 over 2. Okay. So now 4 can be written as 2 squared multiplied by 1 over 2 times this is 4n. So this is 2 to the power minus 1 times 10 to the power 4n. Is this it? Oh no, they specifically asked me for the standard form. Okay, so standard form 2 to the power 1, negative 1. This is basically 1 over 2, right? And 1 over 2 is basically 0.5. 1 over 2 is 0.5 times 10 to the power 4. And again, this is 0.5 is not within this range. Okay, 0.5 is not within this range. So I can actually write it as 5 times 10 to the power negative 1 times 10 to the power 4. And yeah, so now again I can combine these two. So 5 times 10 to the power negative 1 plus 4n, or I can write it like in a more beautiful way, 4n minus 1. Okay, this is my answer. So far it's question number 19, and all the questions have been fairly easy, I'd say. I hope you guys agree with me. The width of a rectangle is x meters. So let me just draw the rectangle quickly. So the width is x. The length is 8 meters longer than the width. So the length is x plus 8. Find an expression in terms of x for the perimeter. Okay, so this is really simple. The perimeter of a rectangle is the 2 times the length plus the width. Okay, so 2 times L. The length is x plus 8. The width is x, right? So this becomes 4x plus 16. Right? Yeah, 4x plus 16 it should be. Okay, I hate maths because I don't know, I just hate it. Anyway, so part B is factorize this thing. Um, when we are doing factorization, I ask everyone to not use your calculators because you guys are learning the basics right now. So try to avoid using your calculator to solve the equation and then writing the factors. So I hope you guys know how to factorize using middle term. If not, then just like search on YouTube, okay? Uh, yeah. So basically, the multiple of 1 and 20 is 20. So I'm gonna take the prime factors of 20, which is so 2 times 2 times 5. So basically, I have to come up with some combinations of multiples of this to form this. Okay. How should I actually put it in words? Actually, thinking, how should I explain this? How should I explain how to do middle term? So the factors, the prime factors are 2, 2, and 5, right? So my target is actually like try to somehow find like okay, let me just do it and then I'll try to like phrase it properly. So the next line should be x squared plus 10x minus 2x minus 20. Okay. So basically, what are the like the factors of 20? Like what can we actually multiply together to get 20? So we can actually write 2 times 10, which gives me 20, and then 4 times 5, which is also 20, and then 5 times 4. You get the idea. So basically these and also 20 times 1, this is also 20. Okay. So now our next goal is to find a combination of two numbers. Like if we add or subtract them, then we get the number in the middle. Okay. So we need to find something that like by adding or subtracting them from each other, we get 8. So clearly the first one is the only option, like 10. If we subtract 2 from 10, we get 8, right? Let me just check the next one for the sake of this explanation. So 4 and 5. So like if you add 4 and 5, this becomes 9. Okay, so this is not our like desired number. It should be like we need to make the combination should be 8. Okay, I hope you guys are getting it because I'm assuming you are giving exam like very soon, so you should be able to do later on. Okay. Anyways, so let me just take x common from the first two terms. So this comes out to be x plus 10. Now taking negative 2 common. So this also is x plus 10. Now taking x plus 10 common, which gives me x minus 2. Okay, so this is the factorized form. Hence, write down the range of values of x for which the area of the rectangle is greater than 20. Okay, so the area is basically the length multiplied by, sorry, the width multiplied by the length. And the area should be greater than 20. Okay. So x squared plus 8x minus 20 should be greater than 0. So I already factorized this thing, which is x plus 10 and x minus 2. And these should be greater than 0. Okay, the entire thing. So this is basically a quadratic inequality. I hope you know how to solve it. And the best way to solve a quadratic inequality is by drawing a graph. Okay, always draw a graph. So since I know the factors already, so the value of x is 2 and the value of x here is negative 10. So the graph should be since it's a positive graph, so it should be a U-shaped graph. And the points of intersection with the x-axis is basically negative positive 2 and negative 10. Okay, so let me just draw the graph. Okay, so this point should be positive 2 and this is negative 10. Now we need to like find the region that where y is greater than, where the graph is greater than 0. Okay, so this line is the 0 line. Okay, and in this particular region, okay, this region, the graph is above this line, right? And in this region, the graph is above the 0 line. So these are my required regions. So the first part of the answer is x should be less than or less than negative 10. Okay, and this one is x should be greater than 2. Okay, so the answer is x should be less than negative 10 or x should be greater than 2. But x is a length. Okay, x is a length, and lengths cannot be negative. Okay, so lengths cannot be negative, so we have to discard this portion of the answer. Okay, therefore my final answer is x greater than 2, since length can't be. Okay, that's the only explanation. So yeah, moving on. Question 21. This is upper bound, lower bound. I think, yeah, upper bound. Yeah, with the upper bound. So before even reading the question, the first step you guys should do is find the upper and lower bounds of every single number. Okay, this is for your practice. So for AB, the length is given to 9 centimeters to one significant figure. So what's the next digit going to be? It's going to be 10, right? The next one is 10, and then the next one is going to be 11, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so the increment, what's the increment? Like, by what number is this increasing? By 1, right? So the rule is you should do increment divided by 2. Okay, so if the increment is 1, then you should you should divide it by 2. So if it is 1, then it's 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is 0.5. So you should subtract 0.5 from 9 to find the lower bound, and add 0.5 to find the upper bound. So 8.5 and 9.5 are the lower and upper bounds. And now for the next one, 6.5, and it's given in the nearest 0.5 centimeters. So what's the next one? What's the next one? It's 7.0, right? And then the next one is 7.5, and then 8.0, and then 8.5. You get the idea. So what's the increment in this situation? The increment is 0.5, right? The increment is 0.5. So increment divided by 2 is 0.5 divided by 2, which is 0.25. Okay, this is 0.25. So to find the lower bound, you subtract 0.25 from this number, and to find the upper bound, you add 0.25 to this number. Okay, so the lower bound is 6.25, and the upper bound is 6.75. I'm not going to explain this one. I'm just going to write the answer. It's 5075, 5085. Similarly for this one, it's 10 point what 3 significant figures. So 10.5, 10.6, 10.7. Yeah, so it's basically 10.45 and then 10.55. Okay. So now um, we need to find what exactly? The upper bound of the perpendicular height. Okay, the height. And we are given the length, so we can find the base area and what? And the volume. Okay. So we have the formula to find the volume. Okay, let me just make volume the subject. So volume is equal to the mass divided by the density, right? Mass divided by density. And how do I find the volume of a pyramid? The formula is volume is 1 over 3 times the base area times the perpendicular height, right? This is the formula for volume. So let me just write it right here. 1 over 3 times the base area. How to find the base area? It's basically AB times BC, right? So I'm gonna write it right here. AB multiplied by BC multiplied by the height. So let me just label it as H equals mass in capital M and density in capital D for simplicity. So my target is to find the height. So let me make H the subject. So taking everything on the right side, 3M divided by AB multiplied by BC multiplied by D. Now, what's my target? I need to find the upper bound of the perpendicular height, right? I want to find the upper bound. So I need to maximize H. My target is to find the maximum value of H. And for that, I need to maximize this value, the one at the top, and I need to minimize the every single value at the bottom. Okay, that's how we calculate upper bound of fractions. So to find upper bounds of fractions, we need to maximize the numerator and minimize the denominator. Okay, that's the rule we need to remember. I'm not going to go into details why, like the reason, because it's going to complicate this entire video and it's going to be way too long. So yeah, it's fairly simple from now on. So I need to find the maximum value of the mass, and the maximum value is this, which is 5085. Divided by the maximum value of AB, sorry, the minimum value of AB, which is 8.5, multiplied by the minimum value of BC, which is 6.25, multiplied by the minimum value of the density, which is 10.45. So the units, yeah, the units are consistent as well, so I don't need to look at them. 3 plus 4, 508, 508.526. So my value comes out to be 27 point something. This is 27.47875 dot dot dot. So they told me to give it in three significant figures, so 27.5. This is my final answer. Okay, moving on. Oh, I hate histograms. Okay, I hate them. I hate maths. Okay, so okay, so this has some incomplete information. So let me, like, the first thing that I usually do is count the number of small squares, okay? The number of small squares. Let me just write them down right here. So the number of small squares right here is like 10 times 10, which is 20, right? So 20 squares. How? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So, sorry, not 20, sorry, it's 100. Okay, so 10 times 10 is 100. Anyways, my bad. And this one is 20 times 4, 20 times 4, right? So this is 80. And then the next is 10 times 30, so this is 300. And then this is 10 times 20, which is 200. And then this is 5 times 10, 20, 24. So 5 times 24, is it 120? Yeah, it's 120. Okay, so I like now I have the area in a way. So we know that the frequency is proportional. Frequency is proportional to the area, right? And to remove the proportionality sign, we can actually introduce a constant. So the frequency is proportional to, like, frequency is equals to k times a. So now I need to find the value of k in this situation. So let me just use the information from the table. Let's say, let me just use this one. Okay, 55 to 60, 65, which is this part. The area is 100, right? Because that's the number of squares, small boxes. So the area is 100. So, and the frequency is 20. So 20 is equal to k multiplied by 100. So k comes out to be 1 over 5. So the formula is F equals 1 over 5 times area. Okay, this is basically the the basis of solving the entire question. Okay, I'm going to use this formula like this. Oh, I didn't even need the question. So show that y is equal to 16. So what's y? Where's y? This one. Okay, I need to find y. So I already know the value of, like, the area, right? The area is 80, and I need to find the frequency, right? So n. This is basically frequency. This is frequency. So I need to find the frequency for 80. So this one. Let me just write it down right here. Need to find frequency for area equals 80. Okay, so I'm gonna use the equation that I just found out, which is F is equals to 1 over 5 times A. So F is equals to, and instead of F, I can actually write Y because in the table it's Y. So Y is equal to 1 over 5 times A is 80. So this comes out to be, it should be 60. Right. So I'm gonna just copy, like, move the entire thing here because that's the answer of this part. Okay, moving on. A tomato for which the weight is less than 35 grams is classed as a small tomato. A small tomato is selected at random. The probability that this tomato weighs less than or equal to 15 grams is this. Complete the history. Okay. Okay. Is this bringing conditional program? I will actually want to override using conditional program because that's going to complicate things. Okay, so we are given that pro probability of the weight being less than or equals to 15 of the small tomato. Okay, so I'm gonna avoid using conditional probability. How am I gonna do it? Okay, so For a tomato to be classified as small, the weight has to be less than 35 grams. Okay, so I'm gonna ignore this entire part. Okay, I'm gonna forget about it completely. So my entire data set is starting from 0 to 35. Okay, I'm gonna ignore the rest of the data set. All right, so now what do you do? So my target is like I do not know the area of this part, right? I need to find like I need to fill up this part, right? So let me just assume that the area is, let's say, n. Okay, the area of this part of this rectangle is n. So now this is gonna make our calculations much simpler actually. And we can clearly see that. And let me just label the height. The height of the bar should be like h. Okay, so I can clearly see that n, the area is h times 10, right? The area is like, if I ask you how did I calculate the area of this thing, I multiplied this part with this length, right? This is exactly what I did. So if I actually try to find the area of this invisible thing, then the area, which is n, should be equal to this length multiplied by the height. I hope you're getting it, right? So this is the formula that I'm going to use later on. So just keep it at the back of your mind. So now we are given the probability of weight being less than 15 is like, how do we calculate the probability? The probability is basically like the total should be like here, and our requirement should be at the top, right? So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So let me just write it right here. So the probability of it being less than 15 should be, let me just write the total. The total is n plus 120 plus 200 plus 300, right? And as I mentioned, I'm gonna completely ignore this part since we're only concerned with the weight being less than 35. Okay, and at the top it should be n plus 120. Okay, because we are actually trying to find the probability of the weight being less than or equals to 15. So we are only considering n and 120. Okay, the area n and 120, and at the bottom it should take everything else. So like the entire data set. So this part, okay, of the area n plus 120 plus 300 plus 200 and 300. Okay, so this is basically the probability of the weight being less than 15. Okay, less than or equals to 15. Let me just take it right here. And the value of this probability is already given, which is 3 over 8. Okay, this is 3 over 8. So clearly I can find the value of n, right? I can actually find the value of n using this from this equation. So it comes out to, let me just calculate it quickly. 3 times n plus 500, so 620, 8n plus, it's 960, 3n, 3 times 620, it's 1860. So just here, 60 divided by 5, which is 180. And okay, so I found the value. Why is this different color? Okay, it's in blue, so it's purple. Anyways, so n is 180. But remember, our target is not n. Okay, our target is actually the height. Okay, the height, so that we can actually draw a rectangle right here or whatever. Okay, so our actual target is the height of the bar. Okay, so we can actually use the original equation that I wrote right here. N is equal to height times 10. Since we know the value of n, we can actually easily find the value of h. So 180 is equal to h times 10. So h is equals 18. Okay, so now I can easily complete, like I can like easily complete the histogram. The height should be 18. So I should go up to 18 squares. So I shouldn't actually erase it. I can erase this part. So n is 18. So this is 10, this is 15, this is 18. So this is my final answer. Okay, so let me just shade it. Use a different color. So this is my histogram, right? The computer, and this height is 18. Okay, it was a bit complicated, I'd say. Okay, moving on. Oh, matrix calculations. They are like sometimes very complicated, the algebra part. Um, so let's see. We are given a matrix A and another matrix B A inverse. Okay, given that the determinant of matrix B inverse is -1/6. So my goal is to find the matrix B inverse. Okay, how do I find it? Um, Let me just write the original equation that we are given. So B A inverse is equal to, let me just label this entire thing as M. Okay, so my target is the inverse of B. How do I find the inverse? B inverse of B. If I take the inverse of, should I do it? Like I'm trying to figure out like if I actually want to avoid complications. So just see. Um, yeah, let me just start working on it and see what happens. So B should be equal to M multiplied by A. So this is going to be matrix B, and then if I find B, then I can easily find B inverse. Okay, so that's my current approach. So I already know. And also, why did I multiply A to the right? Because A inverse is to the right. Okay, so the position matters. If A inverse was right here, then I should have written A right here. Okay, that's basically the rule. So M is x1 -8 x, and A is -1/2 0 -2 1. Okay, I'm gonna multiply everything. So I hope you know like how to multiply the components. So the row multiplied by the columns. So x multiplied by this plus this multiplied by this. This is the first term. So -x/2, and then again x multiplied by -2, and then -8 multiplied by 1. So 2x -8. Same like I'm gonna do the same with this row and this column, and then again this row and this column. Okay. So -1/2. And then -2 plus x. Okay, so this is my matrix B, but that's not my target. My target is the inverse, okay, the inverse. So the inverse is basically 1 divided by the determinant of B, and then I swap the places of this part. Like I forgot the labels. Like this one and this one, they should be actually swapped. And these two positions, the signs should be reversed, right? That's the format of inverses. I hope you guys get my gist, right? That's how I actually remember. I don't remember like A, B, C, D, okay? I just remember the format. So anyways, we let me just read what else do we already have. Given that the determinant of matrix B inverse is -1/6. Okay, so one important fact that you guys should know is the determinant of inverse. Determinant of B inverse is basically 1 over determinant of the original matrix. Okay, this is an important rule that like you guys should know. So I already know 1 over like I already know the matrix B, so I can actually find 1 over determinant of B, right? So and I also know the value of the determinant of B inverse, so I can actually write it as like let me just try to fill this up. So 1 over determinant of B. What's the determinant of B? I can actually find it using this one, right? So A multiplied by D minus B multiplied by CX. So this multiplied by this minus this multiplied by this. Okay, I'm gonna write it right here. Hope it's like this is the least complicated way, I hope. So this multiplied by x minus 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 2x minus 8. Okay. So this entire thing is equal to negative 1 over 6. So what can we do with this entire equation, this messy equation? We can actually find the value of x. Okay. So how do I simplify this? Let me just multiply everything by 6. Should I do it? Okay. How do I simplify? Okay, let me keep it as it is and take the LCM. Okay. The LCM is 2 right here. So 2. So negative x minus 2, and then negative. This leaves me with negative 1, and then here it's negative 2x minus. This is 1. Okay. So now this 2 comes at the top, right? So negative 1 over 6 is equal to 2, and let me just remove the brackets right here. So negative x squared plus 2x, and then so minus 1 times minus 1 is plus, so negative 2x negative 8. Okay, now it's getting much simpler. Okay, let me just cross multiply. So this minus sign. Okay, so if this minus sign is like with 1, then like do not associate it with the denominator. Okay, it's either at the top or at the bottom. Okay, do not give the minus sign in both the numerator and the denominator. So for simplicity, I'm gonna take it at the top. Okay, so negative 1 multiplied by this entire thing. So this comes out to be x squared minus 2x plus 2x minus 8 equals now 6 times 2, which is 12. Okay, now simplifying everything, x squared. Okay, so these two actually cancel out. So 12 plus 8, which is 20. So x is coming out to be a very weird number. I think I do not want it to be weird. I usually hate it when the number is very weird. So anyways, so x is square root of 20. And x is greater than 0, okay? So square root of 20, what's square root? Just find it. So it's 2 root 5. Okay, 2 root 5. Right, so, oh, my goal was not to find x, my goal was to find the inverse. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do it right here. So I already know this value, okay? This entire value is known by me because 1 over determinant is basically the determinant of the inverse, and the determinant of the inverse is negative 1 over 6, okay? So let me just write it right here. It's negative 1 over 6, and right here I can actually write the like expressions. So this is b, right? So I'm going to use this to find the inverse. So I have to swap the places of these. So it's x minus 2 here and negative x over 2 right here, and then I have to change the signs of this, so it becomes 2x plus 8, and this one becomes 1 over 2. Okay, I think I did a mistake. Um, because this shouldn't be a started number, okay? This shouldn't be a decimal, or else they would have specifically written. I think I'm gonna come back to this question later. Okay. Hey, my apologies. Or should I pause the recording right now and check the marks? Yeah, let me just pause the video right here. Okay, back again. It was a very silly mistake. This thing, it should be plus, right? Why? Because I guess you guys noticed it because like I'm multiplying negative 1 with the entire thing. Okay, so that negative 8 should be positive 8. So this thing is incorrect. It should be x squared equals 4. So x should be 2. And the good part is I didn't actually watch the mark scheme, see the mark scheme because like it took me 30 seconds. Yeah, anyways, I'm not that frustrated with myself right now because it didn't take that long. Otherwise, I would have been frustrated. Um, I hope I'm audible. Okay, so moving on. Negative 1 over 6, x minus 2, so 2 minus 2, which is 3, which is, well, let me just write 2 minus 2, and this is 4 plus 8, and this is 1 over 2, and this is negative 2 over 2. So this, everything comes out to be negative 1 over 6. This is 0, this is 12, this is 1 over 2, this is 1. This is 10. I'm not check it again. I hate it. Yeah, I hate this question. I hate it. It's just 5 marks. Yeah. Anyways, okay, finally something. Bro. I love simultaneous equations because they are easy and I don't know, they seem fun to me. Okay? Or maybe, yeah, they just seem fun to me. Okay, so I can clearly make x the subject right here. X equals 4y minus 11. Okay? So this is my equation 1, this is my equation 2, and since this is a quadratic simultaneous equation, we can, the only method is to um, to substitute. Okay, there is no other way to solve this equation, like these equations. So I'm gonna substitute equation 2 into equation 1. So 9, and instead of x, I should write 4y minus 11, and then multiplied by y equals x squared. So instead of x, I have to write 4y minus 11 squared. So 9 minus 4y squared plus 11y equals 16y squared minus 88y plus 11 squared is 121. So now it becomes 20y squared and then negative 99y and yeah, plus 112. Right? Yeah. Can I simplify this? I don't think I can. So I am not even gonna attempt to use middle term here. I'm gonna use a quadratic formula. So negative b, so negative b plus minus b squared, so 99 squared plus, sorry, minus 4ab divided by 2a, right? Sorry, not b. It's in the end. Let me just check. So minus b plus minus divided by 2, and yeah, it's correct. So 99 squared minus 4 times 20 times 112. The square root of this is 20. Okay, perfect. So 99 plus or minus 29 divided by 40. So y could be either 99 plus 29 divided by 40, which gives me 3.2, or y could be 99 minus 29 divided by 40, which gives me 1.75. So I can actually find the value of x now. The value of x can be found using this equation. So 4 times 3.2 minus 11, which is 1.8, or x is 4 times 1.75 minus 11, which is minus 4. So I'm going to write the answers in pairs. So x comma y, so 1.8 comma 3.2, and negative 4 comma 1.75. So that's my answer. Moving on, question 25. How many questions are there? So cube is a cube, so every side is a square. So the length is 6 centimeters. So this is 6, this is 6, everything is 6. Okay. It's placed inside a hollow cone of height h. The base, the ABCD of the cube rests on the circular base of cone. The vertex. Okay, I'm not. Okay. Given that xf, so x is this and f is this. So xf, the length of xf is 134. Find the value of h. So h is the height of the cone. Okay. So I can actually draw a triangle right here. Yeah, let me just draw the triangle right. It's a right angle triangle, right? You can clearly see that. This angle is 90 degrees. So F, C, and X. I know the length FC, which is 6, and the length XF, which is given, which is 134. And I can find the length XC. So XC should be equal to square root of root 134 square minus 6 squared, right? Oh, I use what the Pythagorean theorem or Pythagorean. I forgot the pronunciation. I need to actually look it up. But anyway, so what's the formula? It's basically a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared, where a and b are are these sides, and c is the hypotenuse. Okay, so if we already know the hypotenuse, then and we need to find one other side, we subtract. Okay, that's how I remember it. And if we already know the lengths of the other two sides, then we add them. Okay, so this is basically the shortcut you could say that I use. So the value comes out to be 7 square root of 2. So I know the length of xc. I know the length of xc. Now what? Um, so what's my target? Oh, I need to find the height of the entire cone, right? So I guess I could use similarity, right? So this is one cone, a small cone, and this is the larger cone, right? So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So do I know the radius of the smaller cone? I can find it, right? For example, like I can actually find the length of the diagonal, right? And the half of it is the radius of the smaller cone. And I can actually find the radius of the larger cone as well, since I know x. Okay, so I figured it out. Okay, so first of all, I need to find this radius. Okay, so since I know the length, this is 6, then this is basically the square root of 6 squared plus 6 squared, right? This is, since this, using the Pythagorean theorem, this is the hypotenuse, so I'm going to add this. This should be 6 root 2. So let me just write it. Radius of the smaller cone equals square root of 6 squared plus 6 squared, which is 6 root 2. Sorry. This should be divided by 2, right? Because the ra the entire length is this, and the radius is basically the half of this length, right? So this is the radius, so divide by 2. So it comes out to be 3 root 2. So I know the radius. Now what? This is the radius of the smaller cone. Now I need to find the radius of the larger cone. Radius of the larger cone. What what is it? I know the length of xc. I know the length xc. Here I found right here. And what's my target? My target is to find this, right? This length. So I need to subtract this length from xc, right? This part should be subtracted from xc. And what's the value of this part? This is exactly equal to the radius of the smaller cone, right? Which is 3 root 2. So it's basically xc minus 3 root 2, which is 7 root 2 minus 3 root 2, which gives me 4 root 2. I hope you guys got it. Now what? Now what do I do? Let me just draw one like a side view of the entire thing. Then it's gonna be simpler to visualize. Okay, so the entire length is h, right? The entire length is h, and this portion is 6. This is 4 root 2, and this is 3 root 2. Okay, and to use similarity, I actually need to find this length, right? And from my diagram, I can clearly see that this length is is just h minus 6, right? H minus 6, because if like this length, ah is 6, right? So from this center to this center, the length is 6. I hope you get it. This is 6, and if the entire thing is h, then the height of the smaller cone should be h minus 6. Let me give you like some moment to process this information. I hope you got it. So the height of the smaller cone is h minus 6. Now that we have everything, I think it's pretty easy to like do the rest to find h. So using similarity, I am going to write h divided by the bigger side divided by the smaller side is equal to, again, the bigger side, which is 4 root 2, divided by the smaller side, which is 3 root 2. So now I just need to find the value of h. So root 2 and root 2 gets cancelled out. 3h is equal to 4h minus 6. remove the brackets, so 4h minus 24, therefore h is equal to 24. This is my final answer. And that's a pretty answer. Okay, so I'm confident about it. Show all your working, I guess. Yeah. How many questions? 96. Oh, okay, that's a lot. Finally. So, the function g is defined by this, and we need to find the value of g of 2, sorry, g of negative 2, which is, I just need to substitute the value of x. So 5 divided by negative 2, so which gives me, my mind is not working. So this is 3 minus, sorry, 3 plus 2.5, which is 5.5. And then the range of g, oh, okay. How do I explain this one to someone who hasn't studied pure maths? Hmm, okay, how do I explain this? Okay, so I don't know how to explain this without using like some pure maths knowledge. So yeah, I'm actually going to have to teach you how to draw the graph of this thing. Okay, so yeah. Always try to convert, like whenever there's a fractional equation given, and if you need to draw the graph, try to combine everything, okay, all the time. So I'm taking the LCM, so this comes out to be 3x minus 5, okay? So I am going to draw the graph of this equation, okay, and then find the range. And also one important thing, whenever the question asks you for the range or the domain, always draw a sketch. Okay, like sorry, always draw a sketch. What am I saying? Always sketch the graph. Okay, what do I mean by sketch? Sketch means a rough diagram. Okay, it doesn't have to be accurate, like 100% accurate. It's just for your understanding. Okay, so yeah, now I need to teach you how to draw this one. Let me just open a blank notebook. Wait a minute. Okay, so my goal is to teach you how to draw a graph of an equation that's in the form y equals ax plus b divided by cx plus d. Okay, so whenever you see an equation in this particular form, always remember this lesson. Okay, so first of all, the x asymptote. Okay, I'm gonna explain the meaning of asymptote later. I forgot the spelling. Asymptote, I think. I think that's the correct spelling, but yeah, you can just Google it. How to find the x asymptote. X asymptote is basically set the denominator to 0. Okay, so cx plus d equals 0. So x equals negative d over c. Okay, so the target is to set the denominator equals to 0. And how to find the y asymptote? Y asymptote. It's basically the coefficient of x in the numerator divided by the coefficient of x in the denominator, okay, of x in the denominator. So it's basically y equals a divided by c in this case, in the particular example that I just showed you. And now, what exactly is the asymptote? It's basically a value that the graph can never be equal to. Okay, so if I try to show you the example of this equation, so it's 3x plus 5. So the example is 3xy equals to x, what was it? Is it 5 minus 5 divided by x. So the x asymptote is basically x equals 0, and the y asymptote is 3 divided by 1, which is okay. So now if I try to draw the graph, the first thing is these are the axes. Okay, so these are the axes. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. The first thing that you need to do is draw the equations of the lines of asymptote. Okay, draw the equations of the lines of asymptote. So x equals 0, so it's basically this particular line, and y equals 3. So y equals 3 is somewhere around here. Let me make it dotted. Yeah. So this is basically the asymptote line. So now what do I mean by asymptote line? So suppose my graph is like this. Okay, it's coming down like this. Okay, it will never be equal to the line y equals 3. Okay, it will never be equal to this line. It will always be slightly above. Okay, it will come like this, and it will never reach the line y equals 3. Okay, and let's say from the bottom, it's going like this. It's never gonna be equal to this particular line. Okay, the line y equals to 3. Okay, that's basically the meaning of asymptote. It's never gonna be equal to that particular equation. Okay, so for now, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what you need to know. Okay, so always draw the axis and then the asymptote lines. And now how to draw the graph. So for this equation, I'm gonna choose, let's say, just find a random point. Okay, so let's say for wait, for y equals 0, what's the value of x? Let me just calculate it. 0 equals 3x minus 5. So x equals 5 over 3. So it's somewhere around here, right? So if it's somewhere around here, then the shape of the graph has to be like this. Okay. Okay. If the graph is if the value of x is 5 over 3, then the shape has to be like this. Okay. And for the sake of example, if let's say the value of x here right here came out to be, let's say, x is negative 1 over 3. Okay, so it would have been somewhere around here, right? Let's say this. Then the shape would have been like this. Why exactly? Because remember, the line x equals 0, the line x equals 0, which is this is also an asymptote, right? This is also an asymptote, so the graph can never be equal to that particular line. The graph can never be equal to that line in this case as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's like everything you need to know about this, like the asymptotic graphs. So for this particular equation, my entire graph is this, right? But they specifically told us that x has to be less than 0. So I can completely ignore. So this is 0. So I can actually completely ignore this portion of the graph. Okay, I can completely ignore this portion of the graph, and I can focus on this part only. So what does range mean exactly? Range means all possible values of y. Okay, range means it's all possible values of y. So now from the graph, I can clearly see that y is if I try to find an upper limit of y, there is no upper limit. Okay, y keeps on going. Okay, it keeps on going. It keeps on going up until infinity. Okay. Now, is there a minimum value of y? There is, okay? There is. Y can never be equal to 3, okay? Y can never be equal to 3. Y is always greater than 3, okay? Y is never equal to 3, or Y is never less than 3, okay? Y is never equal to 3, or Y is never less than 3. If I had considered this portion, then I could have said that y can be less than 3 as well. Okay, but I'm not considering this part because the question specifically told me that I should not consider the x greater than 0 portion. Okay, so from this particular graph, I can reach to the conclusion that the value of y is always greater than 3. Okay, so that's my final answer. Y greater than 3, or g of x greater than 3. All that work for just 2 marks. Yeah. I guess another method that you could do is, hmm, I guess you could actually form a table. Okay, x, and then here write g of x, and then for since they already gave you the domain x less than 0, so for example, just take 0. sorry, negative 0.01, okay, and find the value of y, okay, and then negative 1, and then find the value of y, and then negative 5, find the value of y, and then negative, let's say 100, okay. So the goal is to find a pattern, okay. The goal is to find a pattern. You'll notice that y, like you'll eventually, like if you like do this thing enough times, then you'll notice like reach to this conclusion, okay. But like this method is not like very systematic, I'd say. This is a better way, but it requires you to learn how to sketch the graphs of such equations, okay? So yeah, there are trade-offs. Moving on, I express the inverse function in the form, okay? This is pretty straightforward. So we write y equals 3 minus 5 divided by x. So y equals x. Like, what's the goal? The goal is to make x the subject and then swap x and y. So y x equals 3x minus 5. So xy minus 3x equals minus 5. So x equals minus 5 divided by y minus 3. So now what do I write right here? I swap x with y. So minus 5 divided by x minus 3. So that's my final answer. I hope this is the last one. Yes, fortunately it is. Um, express the composite function. Okay, so yeah, just rewrite g of x right here. G of x is 3x minus 5 divided by x. Okay, so my target is to find g of h of x. So basically, what I have to do is I have to insert the entire function of h inside g. Okay, h inside g, and then if there is like for example f, then the entire thing inside f. Okay, that's like how we go from right to left. Okay, so h inside g, and so I have to replace every single x with h. So 3 times x minus 5 divided by x, right? And with these brackets I have to write like inside these brackets I have to write h. So 2 divided by 2x minus 3, and then 2 divided by 2x minus 2. So now let me just take LCM right here. So 2x minus 3. So this leaves me with 6 minus 5 times 2x minus 3 divided by 2 divided by 2x minus 3. Canceling these. This leaves me with 6 minus 10x plus 15. So this comes out to be negative 10x plus 21 divided by 2. And this matches the format. Oh, finally. Uh, Okay, so let me just quickly skim through the paper, see if I missed anything. I guess I didn't, fortunately, and I hope everything is correct. I'm gonna stop recording right here and then match with the Martian, or should I just check right here? Okay, let me just check it right now. It's 4 a.m. right now, so it took me exactly 2 hours to complete the entire paper. Or yeah, but I was talking a lot, so the first question, I think these are correct. Let me just check the matrix one. What's this? Okay, these should be correct. 4, 158. Was it 158? Question 11. Yeah, 158. Perfect. And then, yeah, this is correct. 35. 35. What was 35? Oh, right, the kilometer per hour. This one, okay. Minus 7 and 8, okay, correct. 70.6, correct. 13, yeah, correct. 256, yeah, this one's correct. Correct. Oh, yeah, correct. And this should be, yeah, this one's correct. Oh, the height one, yeah. Okay, so 18 small squares high, yeah, correct. Oh, the matrix, yeah, finally. So the value of x was 2, yeah, it's correct. And the matrix, yeah, it's correct. How did they do it? Oh, they did exactly what I did, I think. Yes. Simultaneous equation, I hope it's correct. This one, what was it? Oh, the height thing. It was 20, 24, was it?